Hello! We have 4 stories today from AITA as we say hello to Iceland. This collection comes from the Cece Vault, otherwise known as the folder where I save the video for next week and completely forget it exists until I find it 2 months later. So perhaps you may have heard one or some of these, but they were just too good to let slip by to time. Not unlike our first story where there's tasty treats abound, laying all around the place, but beware, it's a trap. That is, unless you want to yakety yak. Get out the barf bags for story 1. My boyfriend and I are staying at his parents' house. It's been going really well, but his dad is very particular. He has moments every day where he corrects or instructs the other people in the house on how he wants us to behave. I don't really have a problem with it, but he has a few rules that do make me a little uncomfortable. I don't need to get into why, but I always get diarrhea here. I've been visiting them a few times a year for almost a decade, and it just is what it is. My boyfriend and I used to stay in a room downstairs with a bathroom, and it wasn't a problem. But his brother moved back home, and now we don't have our own bathroom. I don't want to advertise the fact that I have diarrhea to everyone in the house, and I'm not allowed to use the bathroom fan at night. So I usually use poo-pourri, or just a drop. When we got home the last time, my boyfriend got a text from his dad asking him to ask me to stop using strong essential oils as it was making him feel sick. I was so embarrassed, and I honestly have been kind of dreading coming here again. I was talking to my mom about this, and she suggested that I bring some paper matches because that's what she used to do. I got some paper matches, and they actually work pretty well. Tonight, I woke up from my sleep because I had diarrhea. I lit a match when I was done, ran it under water, and folded it up into some aluminum before throwing it in the garbage. I fell back asleep and was woken up a while later by a big commotion. My boyfriend's dad smelled burning and thought the house was on fire, so he woke everyone up in a panic and searched the house to see what was burning. I didn't immediately equate a match with a house fire, and I didn't smell anything when I woke up, so I didn't bring up that I had lit a match. It wasn't even clicking for me that the match was what he smelled until my boyfriend asked me if I smelled anything when I got up earlier to use the bathroom. Long story short, I just got chewed out by his dad for lighting matches at night or lighting matches in general as a guest in their home. Even his mom was upset because I could have started a fire and nobody would know. I apologized and everyone went back to bed, but then my boyfriend lectured me for like 15 minutes about embarrassing him and playing dumb about not knowing what his dad smelled, and also not using common sense. And then he told me to go to sleep and try not to wake everyone up again. I'm honestly so pissed. My boyfriend is sleeping soundly, and I'm just laying here getting madder and madder. I want to wake him up so we can leave because I feel so uncomfortable. I really don't want to face everyone in the morning. I don't feel like I did anything wrong, but I don't know if I'm thinking rationally because I'm tired and I can't fall back asleep. What do you think? Am I the jerk? Reddit voted, not the jerk. In the comments, Canvas Fanatic said, not the jerk. So much not the jerk. Folks, if a match has been run underwater, then short of the intervention of God himself, that match is not going to start a fire. Good grief! Wrapping it in tinfoil is already a step further than reason dictates. Adults can be trusted to dispose of matches. This poor woman has endured repeated visits to this clearly disturbed man's home. She's doing literally everything she can think of to be respectful of his deranged behavior. Something is wrong with this family. At a minimum, they're enabling the father's personality disorder. Stay away from these people. Amathro said, I think you get diarrhea at these people's home because it's an incredibly stressful environment. You are walking on eggshells the entire time to tiptoe around his extremely volatile and aggressive father. I mean, holy moly, have these people never owned a candle? OP answered, the stress probably doesn't help, but I get sick there because of the food. They do things like leave meat out on the counter all day to thaw. Also, they don't put all the leftovers in the fridge. Or if they do, it's not done quickly enough and there's just a lot of cross-contamination and stuff with raw meat. None of them get sick, I guess, because they are used to it. So it's not a priority for them to change the way they do things. My boyfriend has tried suggesting different food safety things to them, but they aren't interested. I always try to be polite when I'm a guest in someone's home, and it's important to me to make my boyfriend happy. But I'm just so over this trip and I want to go home. Not the jerk, times 1,000. OP is way too much of a people pleaser. Poor thing grins and bears the monsoon experience she has when she visits her potential future in-laws. And this is multiple times a year. What an actual nightmare. Could this be worse than having a Karen for a mother-in-law? I think it could be. These people are basically poisoning her and then getting mad at her for trying to cover it up. Our second story is the shortest, but it continues on our culinary-themed adventure with one woman who makes a spectacle of her pickiness wherever she goes. She's known for turning away from unflavored water, dancing around bones, and keeping cheese confined to sharp cheddar territory. And don't even mention onions, garlic, or anything that's too spicy. This show also refuses to cross any international border. But there's an iceberg in the waters ahead as she partners up with a globetrotter on a taste adventure in Story 2. My girlfriend is an incredibly picky eater. Like I said in my title, she eats like she is 10 years old. In fact, I'll give a short list of things she refuses to eat: unflavored water, fish, excluding fried shrimp, anything with bones, cheese other than sharp cheddar, spinach, onions, garlic, pasta without red sauce, eggs, spicy food, aioli, ketchup, potatoes, except french fries, pastries with fruit, citrus, sausage, any non-American food. This compares to me, someone who grew up in multiple different regions of the US and lived abroad for a few years. So I'm a bit more adventurous when it comes to food. Whenever me and my girlfriend go out somewhere nice, she ends up getting the same meals, usually either a burger or chicken tenders and fries. We could be going to an authentic Nepalese restaurant and she will get the french fries and white rice. To me, it's kind of embarrassing to go to a restaurant where there is a dress code and for her to order chicken tenders and fries. It especially bothers me that since I typically pay, I end up paying $15 for chicken tenders that I could get from the freezer section at Walmart for $5. Recently, in our area, a very nice dinner place opened up and my girlfriend has been dying to go. I took a look at the place and the menu and saw that it looked nice, but the food was kind of pricey. She said she was probably going to get chicken tenders, as per usual. I asked her what's the point of going then if I can toss some tenders in the air fryer for her and not spend a ridiculous amount of money on it. She asked why I had an attitude about this, and I told her that I thought it was a waste of time and money to go to a nice place to get little kid food. She interpreted this as me calling her a little kid. I clarified that I wasn't calling her a child. However, it is kinda childish for her to eat the way she does. I also said that if she's gonna order food we can make at home, there's not any point in us going anywhere. This led to an argument about me thinking I'm better than her. Am I the jerk? Reddit voted not the jerk. In the comments, nothing, because everyone was way too nice and understanding. I know. How's a girl supposed to farm drama when Reddit stops being Reddit and becomes reasonable? Reddit and reasonable in the same sentence. Oh. Our third story has our cruise stop at a new destination never before visited by one woman's husband, the land of leafy greens. When this wife decides to spice up her marriage with a secret ingredient, veggies. Unaware and oblivious, he continues eating his wife's cooking, each bite an invitation to a healthier lifestyle, until the cat's out of the bag in Story 3. I'm 28 and have been with my boyfriend, 36, for a year and a half, and we moved in together about 4 months ago. One of the first things I noticed about my boyfriend was that he never really ate vegetables. He would sometimes eat them if we were out at a restaurant and they came as part of his meal, but he never ate them when I cooked for him. Originally, I thought maybe my cooking was the problem, so I asked him if he enjoyed my food, and he told me he loves my cooking. On nights I didn't cook for him, he ate exclusively frozen foods and never ate the vegetables in those either. Naturally, he has some health issues. Vitamin deficiencies, etc. He had phrased it to me as if he was somehow just genetically unlucky. I believed it for a while because I don't know how that stuff works. But eventually, it became clear to me it's because he voluntarily eats a vegetable like once a month. 6 months ago, I started hiding vegetables in my cooking. If I was making pasta, I'd put the vegetables in I'd usually put in for myself. Then, take half out and blend it so he wouldn't notice the vegetable chunks, and then tell him I just scooped the veg out of his portion. This happens more often now that we live together because I do all of the cooking. He's been telling me a lot lately he's been feeling a lot better the past few months. He has even had his doctor reduce the dosage of some of his medications, and he hasn't had to take his multivitamin in weeks. I kept my mouth shut because I'm just glad he's feeling better, and it really does me no harm to hide the veg in his food. Yesterday, I was making one of our regular pasta meals. It's one that's very easy to hide at least 4 veggies in. I was about to blend my boyfriend's portion when the blender died mid-blend. I had to serve it in all its veg chunk glory. My boyfriend refused to eat the vegetables, but when he tasted the sauce, he said it's weird how it tastes the exact same, even though this one has veg in it. So I confessed. He screamed at me and called me a controlling witch and said that it's none of my business if he thinks vegetables don't do anything. I pointed out, he said he felt better. He said his health was none of my business and that I'm a controlling, judgy jerk, and stormed out of our apartment to stay with his sister. His sister texted me to say he's fine, but she agrees with him. My friends agree it's ridiculous that he didn't eat veg, but agree I'm being a jerk. Am I the jerk? Reddit voted, not the jerk. In the comments, Constance said, "The things women will do for men who literally just don't care is just embarrassing at some points. As a member of the species, stop. He's not a dog that needs his tick antibiotics rolled up in a dozen layers of Swiss cheese coated in peanut butter. You're literally battling a grown man and leading a whole double life to get him to eat his vegetables. Please do yourself a favor and find a guy that can handle a little broccoli once a week." Trash Mord said, "No, you are not the jerk in any way, and I don't care what anyone says. I admittedly was the same way till my girlfriend kinda got me to start. I felt much better afterwards and just, minus squash, I will straight up fight someone after having to eat that nasty health food. If he's gonna be a crybaby about it, he can cook his food and you can cook yours. That way, he can control what he's putting in his body," as another comment said. Cheerful Cynic suggested, "Spaghetti squash actually can be delicious with a real spaghetti sauce, just like OP describes, with meat or mushrooms, but it's gotta be roasted plenty." Trash Mord replied, "See, that's not fair. Because I love noodles with a passion. You can't be using that love to try and make me eat that." The End is Fancy added, "I hate coffee and beer. Many people have insisted I needed to try their beer or coffee because it tastes like apple, chocolate, baby souls, vanilla ice cream, etc. Those people were lying liars who lied. That nastiness still tasted like coffee and beer. I also don't like any squash except very lightly grilled yellow, and even then, I will only like it 40% of the time. There is significant overlap in the beer, coffee, spaghetti, squash crowd. Proceed with caution." Not the jerk. OP is just trying to instill healthy habits. Did he like the food? Yes. Does he seem willing to do any of the cooking? No. I mean, you can't really complain if your idea of cooking is pulling out a frozen dinner. Just saying, he really shouldn't be complaining. Our 4th story is another short one, and while it breaks with the food theme vibe we have going here, it doesn't hold back on the spice. And do you know what's better with a whole lot of spice? No, it's not pumpkin lattes. Soon, but not yet. It's secrets. Ooh, spicy secrets are so juicy. They're almost irresistible, as this man finds out in story 4. I'm a 32-year-old male and have been dating Siobhan, 32-year-old female, for 6 months now. She's always been very vague about what she does for a living. She said things like writing and working from home writing, but recently one of her friends mentioned something and I finally dragged it out of her. She's an author. She writes and self-publishes romance and erotica stories and novels, and while not rich, she's able to make a living out of it. I Googled her name and couldn't find anything, so I confronted her about this. She said she's writing under a pen name, so I demanded she gives it to me so I know what she does. She refuses, saying she doesn't want it to be leaked even by accident and no one knows. I accused her of not trusting me and she still refused, which was really annoying. I tried a nicer approach and told her that I want to know her fantasies so I can try it out with her, and she told me that what she writes aren't her fantasies, but her readers. And she's still not going to tell me. At night, I tried to check her laptop for her pen name, but she changed her password before bed. I was annoyed and told her she clearly doesn't trust me and it's not fair, because I have a right to know what she writes, especially since it's a sensitive topic and I don't know her if I don't know her pen name. She was furious I tried to look on her laptop and told me to go home. Before leaving, I told her when she calls to apologize, I expect to get her pen name with the apology. She called me a jerkhole on my way out. I thought she'd call by now, but she hasn't. My sister told me I was the jerk and I should apologize, but I just don't see it and need a second opinion. Was I the jerk? In the comments, Crystal Queen 3000 said, "You're the jerk. Well, you're just a walking red flag, OP, demanding, controlling, and feel like it's your right to snoop. That's just grim. Enjoy being single." Franklin Chica 22 added, "I'm seeing a potential plot for her next book here." Someone said, "You realize you're posting here on Reddit using a pen name, right? Do your friends know it? Does she? See where we're going with this?" Columbologist said, "Before leaving, I told her when she calls to apologize, I expect to get her pen name with the apology. Haha, she's not your girlfriend anymore, dude. You're the jerk." Haha, OP blew it. 6 months, in my opinion, is not long enough to demand something like this. It is her entire career, and it is a sensitive topic. What if she decides to stop doing it and doesn't want her real name associated with her work? An OP challenging her on trust when he's snooping around on her laptop? Classic. And that's it for today. Until next time, shine bright, Starlight. If you've enjoyed the story and would like to hear more, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thanks, and bye for now.